Leisure Suit Larry 6. Shape up or slip out. You know, this is probably one of my favorite Larry games. It's the first of the Larry series that actually had a, you know, voiceover, especially in its CD form, where we got introduced to Larry's voice. Some of the more regulars in the franchise that would do voices. I mean, we have Jan Robson, who was the voice of Larry, Neil Ross, who was the narrator, and of course Al Lowe would pop up in the games. This is also one of the more open Larry games, and typical for the humor that the series became known for. So, the story of the game basically opens with Larry being picked in the same way that the Dum Dum volunteers for the suicide mission. He is picked because he's at Muscle Beach ogling the babes, his favorite hobby, and a woman comes up in a stretch limo. And when I say it's a stretch limo, it is the cartoonishly long stretch limousine. I mean, it's got its own swimming pool, tennis court, or helicopter pad. That kind of big thing. Now, the woman is looking for a contestant to be on the game show Stallions, which is a parody of Studs. And of course, to be all honest, a parody of that show is, you know, extremely. You don't have to go far with that. Anyhow, in this one, Larry is, of course, put up against another gentleman. I believe his name was Rock Hard. The gimmick of it is this. Larry was supposed, yeah, of course, well, I don't have to go into the full details. You just have to know that Larry is supposed to lose. He's even told this much. So, Larry ends up getting the second place prize, which is a 2 week stay at La Costa Lata Health Spa, which is a parody of the health spa type of thing. It's literally a farce. Now, of course, Larry realizes that there are certain things that we are definitely going to run into at a health spa, i.e., babes. So, Larry makes his way in, well, gets to the spa, and what happens is this: Larry meets all the lovely ladies that, quote, work there and are going there. And each one wants something. Well, you have to figure out what to give them to woo them, which will always end comedically bad, especially for Larry. I mean, he meets, let's see, of the ladies that are there are at least four who are guests and four who are working there. And each one of them has like a specific request, and so you're going to have to figure out how to get those items. Now, wooing each girl will have its ups and downs, but in the end, each wooing that is, quote, successful. You will either get an item or two to help you move a little bit closer to the final girl. Now, when I say this is how it plays out. All the ladies have a request. I should also note that all the ladies' names are wines. I'm serious. Each one is a wine of some sorts. For example, you have Rosadita. That's wine. Burgundy. Cavarici. We also have basically I'm having brain farts. Merlot. Also Chablis. Let's see, Chardonnay. I think the only one that really doesn't have a name that's like that was is Thunderbird, T-Bird. Now, as you move your way through, you have to get something each one wants. For example, one of like the receptionist, Gammy Bougelet. I think that was her full name. Um, Her name is both a wine and somewhat of a tip off on what you want. You can only see her from waist up. But she came to work at La Costolata so that she could experience the liposuction machine there, which was an amazing thing. Could really pull out the cellulite. And it turns out that she's got a very thick thighs and legs. She's very bottom heavy, if you would to put it that way. And I don't necessarily mean in something that would necessarily look good. You have another woman that works there, Burgundy. She's a blues singer. Well, actually, she's a country singer, but she's in the club's blues bar. Of course, she's getting tired of all these fruity drinks. So she'd like you to get her some alcohol. No alcohol allowed on premises. But in the cruise wreck area, there's tons of it. You have Chablis, who is looking for a dress for the club's spring formal or whatever formal what you want to call it. You have Merlot, the guest who suffers from one of the strangest addictions out there, bungee addiction, and she'd love total unlimited access to the bungee tower, which is also at the top, which is higher up from the diving board. I mean, let's face it, uh, this is way up. This is beyond nosebleed section for the bungee cord. Chardonnay is into electrical stimulation. Cavarici, well, she's not into men. Kind of ironic, and it's sort of almost blatant that that's the case because she's wears the torn off at the sort of like USMC on it, a T-shirt. However, it's tore off just enough so it makes it look like it might not say USMC, but HOMO. Thunderbird is also someone who won the 2 week stay on Stallions. And she's been just doing a lot of working out. And she's a very dominating woman, I'll tell you that. Now, of course, I'm not going to try and name all the ladies, even though I probably did. But you can actually, go to them in any order. And some encounters will result in you being back in your room. But all these encounters will give you something special at some point. Maybe two items if you're paying attention. And you can tell that this is really a parody of a health spa as you go through it. And they put in nice little, nods to the kind of humor that made the Larry games part of what they are. Go in the shower room and you'll find a loose tile which looks into the ladies' shower. Gee, if that isn't a nod to Porky's, I don't know what is. Some of your characters. The lifeguard is a parody of Billy D. Williams. You, of course, have some of them fall into almost stereotypical roles. The towel attendant in the shower spa area. That is Gary Ferry. The tram operator, Art. He is a nod to one of Sierra's long employees. Also a bit of a mentor to Al Lowell. And of course, all puzzles have their solutions and they can be found. And of course, since we are parroting a health spa, I mean, you go in, you find your typical health menu. And of course, if you open up the door, you will see chefs working hard on that health food. And if you go into the kitchen, you'll find out all those chefs are actually recordings, a film that's constantly playing. And of course, there's a, you know, taco truck in there. You have, of course, in the pool a poolside bar, and all the drinks are watered down because, of course, they get them from the blues bar through some sort of conveyance that you put the drinks into the conveyance and it, you know, shoots it out. It basically lets it be delivered to the pool through the pool. And they throw in the typical Ken Williams cameo, telling bad jokes or punchlines to bad jokes. You never get the joke. And it gets even crazier. Now, of course, as you go through, you're going to get your typical, Larry failures. I mean, trying to woo one woman, you end up voluntarily getting a high colonic, which the actions, experiencing a high colonic would be if you've never experienced one. Yeah, that's probably how you'd react. It wouldn't be too far. I once compared the scene to and showed it to a coworker at the time. It was like, this is how we are when we hear about that overtime. He laughed at that one. You have a lot of things that show up. I mean, he has encounters with. He loses out on two women. He lost out in a one. He came in second in a one-man race. And the other one, well, that they were experiment. One was experimenting, or was just drunk enough. I mean, gets a surprise when one reveals they're not completely woman yet. And before you try and take that the wrong way, it was a quote trans character who hadn't gone full surgery. So it's a complete surprise to Larry. Kind of a complete surprise to anyone who was not expecting something like that at the time. You have one of the fun ones. Larry is stuck on a bungee at night, going up and down and up and down and up and down. After hearing one of the most amazing things ever heard, it was thought provoking, it was moving, it was something you'll never find out because it is, quote, whispered. And even the text of the whispered is just jumbled up. But all these things are needed. Because eventually, Larry will find a dumbwaiter, ride up to the penthouse, or the 40th floor apartment, or 40th floor room, and meet Shamira Payne, a woman who was very successful in business, and decided it was time to get away and find herself. And so she's looking for any deeper meaning I mean, you spot a topless woman in like transparent gauzy pants. Obviously, Larry's mind is thinking jackpot. Of course, when you present each item, and you must finish it off with the champagne, because her name is Shamira Payne, you find out that Larry has hit the gold mine. The fabled ultimate prize in the quote for some swinging singles. She's never done it before. So it's a shame that Larry would be her first. Of course, getting, everything done and all that, you succeed with her. You get stock footage, because that was the thing. Something like that, you get stock footage of either like rocket going off, train going in tunnel, stuff like that. And thus, Larry has completed his quest in that game. Now, let's face it, this is not a Larry game without its humor. The colossal ways that Larry fails, or a date doesn't go as planned, it's priceless. And they returned to the death, or actually, this time they're more comical, and you can have another go at it. Trust me, one of the things my friends used to like to do with that one was recreate those death moments. I mean, show your key to Gary Ferry or unzip in front of him, and you're walking off into the sunset with your new gay lover. Or try and steal the guard's gun, or anything from him when he's not distracted, and you'll end up getting a rocket up your tuchus. And it'll, once it goes up your tuchus, it's going to launch itself into the nearby ocean area or sea area or something. That kind of thing. Yeah, if you open the door in the bar, you get drowned. You let in all the pool water, or let out all the pool water. Go into a sauna wearing a leisure suit. It's not pretty. Or jump into the mud in a leisure suit. It's not pretty. And of course, the funnest one is if you take the pamphlet and you take the hand lotion you grabbed off the nurse's the homekeeping cart. No, nobody's looking except that the bathroom is all glass, and it's those embarrassing moments in life that brings everybody out. It keeps that whole craziness. The death scenes are to laugh at. And so you're literally recreating some of the greatest laughs or death scenes in the whole series. And since it's so open ended in this, like, with each of the games, prior to this, there was some progression of order. I mean, well, Larry 5 had some randomness. You still have everything you need just in a general area. And you could do them in any order. But it just really didn't matter when you did them. But in this one, everything is. You could approach them in any way. You could obviously go to one girl first, and then go to one of the others. But for some, you had to take care of the others beforehand. Or do something prior to initiate their now accessible. And there's also, like, if you wait, in your room for long enough, you'll see merrily bungeeing outside the window. And there were some bonus points and bonus humor for dialing certain numbers in the game. The game, like I said, kept the humor. And being the first one where you could actually hear characters, you finally get a voice to Larry, which is kind of on the higher pitch side and kind of whiny. And they have Neil Ross as the narrator. And he is very talented, and he's perfect because he can actually deliver the snide comments as well. But of course, you get more of that as the series progressed. Well, at least moved on to Leisure Suit Larry 7. But that's all I'm going to say about Leisure Suit Larry 6, Love for Sale. Like I said, it's nicely done. This is a Leisure Suit Larry game that you can play multiple times. You can play it different ways, and it works out fine because everything is set up beautifully. It's impossible to soft lock yourself in this game. And I would advise always trying to go for a complete score. It has a maximum score of 1,000, and if you score all 1,000 points, the score counter breaks, which is kind of funny to watch. It kind of like the dials just boom. Like I said, it's a game you have to play. If you only get to play certain ones of the original Larry series, 6 is a definite play. Just for all the humor. And that's all I'm going to say about Leisure Suit Larry 6. I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk about this great game, and I hope you get a chance to play it yourself. And I hope you also check out all the videos that premiere on my channel. And until next time, this is Rich Kale here on YouTube, Rich Gen X elsewhere. Bye!